But real quick, I find it funny that Mike has so little faith in Anthony that when he does the read every week as Bernie comes in, he has to say, now we can get Bernie set up, as if what he's doing is telling Anthony, do it now. You got to just trust the people there, Mike.
Anthony's looking back. He's just waiting for the cue.
Hey, it's like, look, yo, give it to me. But
we got a good system.
They were actually trying to be nice and get me up here first. You know?
Speaking of Bernie.
They know I'm not coachable.
Yeah.
If you don't got it by now, go get it. I got 2 bags of the Bernie Kosar coffee.
Oh, my wife, by the way, loves it.
Just ordered it.
Yes.
Big time move. I didn't know. Like, this is co-signed by somebody at the Cleveland Clinic. I'm like, this dude got it say on the bag. It's infused with nutrients. I'm not a big coffee drinker because I'm averse to caffeine. But let me tell you something. I ain't gonna lie, bro. It gave you the extra little pep. It got you some vitamins in there. My parents love it. They tried to take one of the bags with them. Said, I ordered your own.
We need to get it in stores. I know it's available on Bernie Kosar.
It's coming.
It's coming on stores, but with the weather we have out here today, you need your vitamin D and resveratrol that's infused in.
We haven't seen sun in a week.
December 15th was the last time we've had sun.
Yeah.
That's nuts. It's going on 3 weeks.
So unfortunately, I'm not saying this for a sales line, but we won't see it for a while. And
at least the next week, there's no sun in the forecast.
And in the Midwest, we're all vitamin D deficient this time of the year. So any way you can infuse and get your vitamin D, I highly recommend it. Whether it's my stuff or not.
We're all deficient. Yeah. We have to ask you to weigh in on what was the hot topic of today, and that's Comeback Player of the Year award. You heard some of the stats. You heard some of the arguments. If you had a vote, who gets it?
Well, I spent my first podcast with Adam the Bull here and had a blast with it. But I'm actually kind of festive and laughing because it's almost like that's the type of question we used to do this whole century when the Browns weren't in the playoffs. we would OCD on this type of stuff. Yeah. So I found it fascinating to think about Baker and Matthew Stafford, but man, I am still so in on my Joe Flacco.
Oh, so you agree with Flacco?
You vote for Joe.
So I'm not saying I'm voting for him. That's all I think about right now is the Browns and Joe Flacco.
I love it more than the Baker story. But if you had a vote, who would get it?
So, and I'm not trying to be on the fence and stuff because I like really all 3 quarterbacks. And what Baker's done this year, coming back and a shout out to kind of the old school offense that's going out there. Tom Moore is an analyst / coordinator down in Tampa. Yeah. Peyton Manning's guru, OC guy. So he's done great stuff with Bake, and I concur with the vision and the competition and stuff. I love how Matthew Stafford plays, and I'm not just saying that to be nice to you, but I've always been all in on him. So
I love him too.
I don't even know if he was regressed other than the team did around him, but. Again, I've almost laser focused with health, family, and the holidays, and the football part of it. I'm staring at that orange helmet right now, and all I could think about is how awesome Coach Stefanski and Joe Flacco have been this last 6 weeks.
You didn't give us an answer.
No.
He just said Flacco.
Give him Flacco.
No. He said I wouldn't vote for Flacco, but I like that story.
By the way, listen.
Who are you voting for?
Right now,
there's no fence riding here, Bern. You know that.
Well, like I said, I like all those quarterbacks, but I'm so fixated on what we're doing with Cleveland and Joe Flacco. I'm Flacco. I love him. And the only reason why I'm hedging on the fence is because Joe said, "Hey, I'm not a comeback player. I was hanging out resting, so I don't want to insult him by saying it." Because he's 16 years of top-tier playing, and for him to come in here and just keep dominating like this,
it doesn't bother you that he's played in less than a third of the team's games.
Oh, nothing about him and the Cleveland Browns bothers me right now. Bro, nothing bothers me about him.
If he had played like this for 4 or 5 more games, it'd be a no-brainer.
Well, I'll tell you what I did. I extrapolated his numbers. If you take his numbers for 5 games and spread them out over a season, he would throw for over 40 touchdowns. However, he'd have over 20... He'd have 25 picks, I think.
He threw for 5,500 yards, 42 touchdowns, 29 picks.
See, the 29 picks for me is dicey.
For how many yards?
5,500.
Oh, stop playing with me. See, this is the thing, Bernie. They don't be getting this. See, when you got game managers that throw picks, you're in trouble. Because they don't have the skill set or the arm to get you back in the game.
He can dig himself out of his own
Joe
hole.
Flacco.
You're right on. Keep going.
Joe Flacco will throw one and say, I got the courage and the arm to come back and throw a bomb.
He has through 5 games. Let's hope
that's why the
catalyst for winning.
That's why the Bills don't worry about Josh Allen's picks.
Right. He'll throw 1, 2, and he'll throw right through it and stuff. So, but again, I'm still fixated on. I'm still loving who we're going to play in the playoffs, and we are for sure a playoff team right now. So, how you even said the statement, if you would, hey, God, if Joe would have played 4 or 5 more games and you extrapolate it out, man, you have this awesome stats, and maybe then he's comeback player of the year. And truthfully, and not to be a prick or anything, I got scared and I said, like, I don't want Joe to have 4 or 5 more games.
You're right.
He's peaking right now.
Yeah,
he's peaking. It's like he's getting ready. So if Coach Stefanski and Joe Flacco do not think he needs to play
Do you
this
bench
week,
him Sunday?
Well, he is benched.
Well, if they don't think he needs to play, I concur, because nothing those two have done has been wrong right now. So his arm, after 16 years in the league, at this time of year, we all would be saying it's great, it's the best it's been. It's not. So for him to have not taken all that wear and tear, and for him to genuinely probably be telling the truth, is awesome for us Browns fans.
Yeah, one question about that. The last time this organization played a game in the regular season in which they had already clinched a playoff spot, you were the quarterback. How did you guys manage that game? Because a lot of people say it's meaningless. Some people will say you want to keep winning. You don't want to break that. So how did you guys handle it?
So this is old school days when the life was a lot different, how you looked at things. So every day was a war, every game was. I don't even want to say those type words here now. But I wanted to play, we played, that's how we got to our 12th win, and we kept the drill going. But at the end of the day, I was banged up, we were sore, we missed some guys towards the end of the year. So it's a balance, and I love how Coach Stefanski and Andrew Berry and the team are trying to figure out what's perfectly right, because we have now, again, we said it the last couple weeks, nobody wants to play the Cleveland Browns right now.
Let me ask you, we talked before about like Myles Garrett won Defensive Player of the Year. Kevin Stefanski doesn't want Myles Garrett to play. If Kevin Stefanski's like, Myles, you're not playing, and Myles comes to him and says, Coach, I really want to play this game, I can rack up some sacks. Like, what do you say if you're the coach?
So I actually think the team is kind of overridden all this right now.
Yeah.
And I'd be hard-pressed to believe that a individual who's a great team guy like that is going to have an individual meeting with the head coach and say, hey, bro, I could use a few more sacks, or I could use a few more scores.
But he has come out publicly numerous times and said he wants this award.
And
it means a lot to him.
And it does mean a lot. It's just, is he going to get it? Okay. And what is he really going to come ask for it?
I don't think he would.
So I love the fact that he wants to play. He is massively essential to what happens in January right now. So shoulders, all those little things. That's one guy I would absolutely err on the side of caution.
He looks like, you look at that picture of him throwing the football, he looks like a freaking cartoon character. I don't know if we can go back to that picture.
Have you ever seen a player that, like,
we'll put up
incredible looking as Myles Garrett? I mean, he is incredible. He's a physical marvel.
We're coming from comeback player of the year to our shower skills. I showered with 60 males. Okay, so it's part
of the best looking guy in the shower.
It's part of why I say you matter, and you need a lot of self-confidence and self-esteem to be able to shower there with all the boys, brother.
Yeah, exactly. Look at this guy. It's ridiculous.
Well, now you got me scared. I'm thinking of that's not how I looked in the shower.
we got to get off.
I'm guessing Leroy didn't look like that in the shower.
We got to get
Bernie,
off.
I have a question for you real quick.
Come on,
we got to get off the shower game, bro.
Yeah, Bernie, I have a question for Bernie. And we talked about this, and Flacco's going to rest, and I was a little hesitant to rest Flacco because whatever he's doing right now, as you alluded to, is working. He's in the zone. He's in the rhythm. Mm-hmm. From a quarterback standpoint, when you're in that zone, does an extra week off, can that take you out of the proverbial zone, or is the proverbial zone just not even real?
So I wrestle with that same set of questions and the same way of thinking about it. Like we had said earlier, I like playing. I want to keep playing with it. but it's a mindset of it. And so if, depending on what Joe's mindset is and his ability to handle it, and Coach Stefanski, I was the guy that erred on the side of playing. I unfortunately erred on the side of wanting the guys around me to play. And then I erred on the side of getting them guys and me hurt. So so it's not always right. And
well, Bradley Chubb for Miami gets hurt in a 30-point blowout.
Yeah.
Right.
And everybody in Miami right now is asking one question. Mike, what are you doing? Why is he on the field during that?
So, and things, and Coach Stefanski said, you can't rest everybody. So I absolutely get that. So I wanted to play, but then also when the games weren't meaningful and you were just playing to play to stay in tune, it's actually sometimes harder because you could actually get yourself hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say, are you more likely to get hurt?
Because you're not as intense. So like in
Great
preseason
point.
games and in games where I knew didn't matter, like the game that I played when the playoffs were on the line, you're just not as into it. So if Joe Flacco could have another level of intensity and say as into it, but then you still are risking it. So I believe he's got the maturity and the gifts to be able to make that decision.
Let me give you this, Bernie. I want to see if you caught this. During the game against the Jets, Joe Flacco drops back. He threw the football, and Cedric Tillman ran the wrong route. And you saw the animated Joe Flacco. Yeah. And the thing about
all right, my man.
And the thing about him being animated, I loved it because it was almost saying, honeymoon's over. He's taking control of the huddle, and he's the leader. And for him to admonish him at that point shows me that he's getting comfortable to a point where he's taking ownership. What did you see in that interaction, and what did you think when you saw that on the screen?
All right, he's the man. I love it. Okay, I love it so much, and I could get a little lengthy here in my answer for that. And first, let me say with number 19, Cedric Tillman and stuff, I love how that rookie's using his hands and the way he goes after it, and his strong hands for a rookie. And I'm not sure I was all in on the Donovan Peoples trade earlier in the year, but I see why now, because they wanted Tillman to get on the field and stuff and start making some plays. So that being said, before I crucify him, you could see Joe was really PO'd off because, and that gives Coach Stefanski a lot of credit, calling a play to a rook on 4th down like that, and Joe believing him shows that probably was a cool draft pick, and that kid's been really aspiring. So for the future, having a younger receiver like that they believe could throw on 4th down like that. But there are hard and fast rules. Moses came down with the 10 commandments and gave us 10 laws. Us quarterbacks have about a dozen of them. And when you're throwing in the middle of the field on 4th down, in my day, you can never throw from the chest up because you would get decapitated and killed. But now you're not allowed to kill the defenseless receiver. So either it's got to be the high throw, which is, I believe, what Joe was trying to get to him, or thou must cross the face of the inside slot defender. So it's either got to be up high and go get it, or he did not cross the face of the defender. And that's, again, I'm trying to be funny, but that's punishable by death. Okay? As quarterbacks and receivers, I love you, all my receivers.
And
you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay? And there's a communication. And for him to do that and know it, okay, and then feel comfortable, being the leader. He's the leader right now. Yeah. He's the leader. It's awesome. Yeah. It's good stuff.
So let's talk about a guy who's not made a lot of mistakes in a very long time. Your guy, David Njoku. I don't know if you saw this, but last night he got picked for the Pro Bowl. Yeah. One of the 2 tight ends in the Pro Bowl, along with Travis Kelce. You've loved this guy forever, and he has put it all together this year as one of the 2 best tight ends in the AFC.
Isn't it gorgeous that we're talking about 11 guys on our Cleveland Browns, 5 starters, 6 alternates. And let me, continue the David Njoku Chief bandwagon, because the play on the field is unbelievable. The play off the field, his yards after the catch is glaringly awesome. But again, I'll go to the little things that he's doing on top of those big things. Boy, we're struggling again with the injuries at the tackle position, and the way he's blocking, a 2-way player. He's dominating the line of scrimmage. I mean, the Jets have a top-tier defense, And it was neutralized by Joe Flacco and guys like David Njoku. And David, the way he's blocking and running right now, I mean, he's special.
I know that he had a good start to the season with all these other quarterbacks, but it seems that Joe Flacco has unlocked another level to Njoku. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely. And one of the things that I'm super biased towards is I really love Coach Stefanski's offense. And Joe Flacco in the Coach Stefanski offense with play action pass and a deep understanding of protections and checkdowns. And one of the big things that, again, I'm not trying to take all this credit for it, but me and Chief spent a lot of time together over the last 4 or 5 years, especially during COVID and stuff. So really talking to you young tight ends out there to develop that rapport with your quarterbacks and to talk with them. And a lot of times, half the time, tight ends don't go out in 6, 7, 8-man protection schemes. And understanding your checkdowns and understanding guys right in front of you and developing that rapport. So in adverse situations, you know who your security blanket is. David Njoku did that back with Baker and stuff. He tried to do it. He's really evolved, and he's hit the nirvana sweet spot of it with Joe Flacco. And because Joe is a play action, deep throwing guy, we love our checkdowns in front of us. So I don't want to look dumb on TV here, but so I'm going to look above the camera, but the checkdowns are in front of us. Why we were talking about Joe could throw a pick and then come right back at it, who cares, and look down the field, because he's looking down the field, because he can wait that extra 2/10, 3/10 of a second, and if Amari Cooper isn't there, Elijah Moore, boom, right to Chief. And that's what's happening. I mean, we had a 3rd and 15 check down, go for 25 yards against the Jets.
That was huge.
God, that's like Christmas morning for us quarterbacks.
We've talked a lot about what happens with Flacco. Will they bring him back next year? It's likely that someone else is.
I'll be his agent. I'm bringing him back.
I'm with you.
I love him.
I'm totally with you. I think that he's proven that he's going to be a safety net. There are others that say it might be a problem for Deshaun. Let me ask the question this way. Let's just say Flacco does go away. The one thing, to me, that we've learned from this experiment is Stefanski's offense has clearly been its best with Baker in the playoff year and with Flacco right now. We know that he has always deferred to what the quarterback wants to do. Stefanski has said that many times. I got to get with Deshaun and give him things that he's comfortable with. That's great. I understand that. But what we've seen from Stefanski's sort of morphing offense is that this is the best version of it. I think the best thing that could come from this is Deshaun watching this and saying, oh, I get it now. You can have success under center, play action. Maybe they just take Deshaun and plug him in to this version of the offense, which is clearly different than the one he ran, and Deshaun can have the same success that Baker had in it and that Flacco's having in it. Let's stick with this offense. Is that a possibility?
So I absolutely am all in on Deshaun and all in on Joe. And that's not trying to play the fence on it. I absolutely think, and it's not a Deshaun indictment. This is a league indictment, a system indictment. Almost nobody played this type of system that liked you 6 weeks ago to 3 years ago. And right. Stefanski, you had to justify. You sat in all kinds of meetings, shows, cocktail parties, having to justify why this is a damn good system. So really, it's not Deshaun's fault. The league and the world doesn't like this system up until about the last month or so. So to your astute point, I so believe that we're all always trying to learn, and we also try to keep adding to our game, and I believe Deshaun is going to see how that adds to his game with that. And I actually think that Deshaun, Joe, and Kevin Stefanski, look, this is a long year football season. To have all of us together, I mean, that is heaven for the Cleveland Browns in 2024.
You're a perfect example of why it would work. I don't understand why people keep saying, first of all, Deshaun wouldn't have a problem with it. Unequivocally, he's a student in the game. He would not have a problem with it. Yeah. Not even a thought. Third, I'm going to go to skip to all the way to the third. Bernie Kosar was on the Miami Dolphins with Dan Marino, two of the best minds in the world. They didn't have no problem Why would you not? And Bernie was calling plays. He was so think about it. You had
that's really where I'd like to see us go with it.
But me with Troy for a mind piece.
Here's what I heard. Okay, here's what I heard. That the problem is because obviously you'd like to have Joe Flacco back as your backup quarterback next year. You've been in the locker room. You tell me. I have heard that the problem is that if Watson doesn't play well, there's going to be guys in the locker room being like, why are we not playing Flacco? And that could be a problem.
So that's a fair point, but there's guys that aren't going to like us if we suck anyways. Okay, so if we aren't playing up to tier, okay, this will be an issue whether Joe's on the team or not. If it does not play good, actually, I think it could be more of an issue with it. So I believe there'd be, to your point, G. Bush, look, we don't like, we love harmonious success. And to see that if Joe could help me and I'm Deshaun, I'm all in on it. And I say this bad joke, and it's terrible around the holidays, but when it comes to football and stuff, if somebody could help you and stuff, you're going to cut Jesus and you're going to hire the devil, okay, to come in and help you.
That's the mentality of the league.
I mean, that is the sickness of the way you look. I hate saying that on TV.
Devil runs a fast 40.
Yes.
It does.
If Joe could teach, there's so many different things like, footwork, play action game. What are you looking at pre-snap, post-snap? The way you study. Think about this. You got a guy who came off his couch and came into the league of elite people and is dominating. Why? But here's the thing. Let me finish this.
Yeah, go ahead.
But if you have that, I want to know how you were able to do that.
I would too. I'm not. Listen, at this point, I'm with you guys. I would bring Flacco back. I'm just, we can talk a little more about it.
And I understand it is human nature. Whenever there's a situation where your understudy starts outperforming you, it's human nature to say, wow, is this dude here to take my job? And in a lot of scenarios, Bull, I think you're exactly right. I mean, look at Brett Favre, how sticky he got when they drafted Aaron Rodgers. Look at Aaron Rodgers, how sticky he got when they drafted Jordan Love. They don't like it when the replacement is in the room. However, this case is different, and here's why. It's not like he's in a contract year and playing for dollar. To quote you, he's got his bag. And he's going to be a millionaire the rest of his life. No matter what happens, he has secured his financial future. I would want the personality that says, bring the competition.
Agreed. So, I would want that.
Bring it.
And I concur with you. And I actually think, too, that would help actually the situation is, and again, I'm going to show my age and stuff, but almost like my biggest brother, my best friend in the whole world who helped me was Gary Danielson. And there's a separation of maybe 10 years in our life, okay? There's a separation of age between Joe Flacco and Deshaun Watson that I really think will help alleviate this issue. Joe will be 17 years next year. One of the things why I lust and love after him this year, and what we started talking about here, is that he hasn't broken down because he's played about a half dozen games.
Right.
That's a long season. Look, we've gone through we're going to have our fifth starting quarterback win a game to win a 12th game for only the second time in Browns history. So you need these guys. So I really believe the stars are going to be aligned, and hopefully maturity plays in that we could all get.
You embraced Gary Danielson, and I already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyhow. How influential was Gary Danielson on your long-term career and success?
It's everything for it, and even my life afterwards. That influence, when you have somebody like that, to where at the tightest, toughest parts of your life. Look, we're all trying to pretend we're cool. We're sitting here on TV trying to look into the camera, being smart and articulate and productive and stuff. It's the same as young quarterbacks. And when you're not and we have to act like that, and then you have a guy who actually teaches you how to do it, and his selflessness, and he imparts his wisdom on you. You can't thank him enough, and I believe that Joe Flacco has that kind of spirituality and gift in him, because he could have held our Browns hostage. I mean, look at that crap contract he signed.
I know.
He got nothing. Right. I mean, he's playing for free. What a great brother. Like, come on. This guy's a giver. This is a gift for us here.
By the way, guys, it's not going to matter, because when Flacco wins the Super Bowl, he's going to ride into the sunset.